Miami's most important for this year, and that's going to be the offensive line room. You have some returning faces. The most notable, CC Maui Noah, a future top of the draft pick right there, right tackle. A bunch of different faces, not different actually, a bunch of returning faces. Jaden, who are you most excited to see out of this group?
I mean, most excited to see is obviously CC Maui Noah, just to see what he can do in his last season at Miami. What you expect to be his last season at Miami. If he balls out again, that's a top 5 pick that you can see at Miami. And you're really hoping he has a great year. The guy I'm most interested in see what he does is Markel Bell. Last season, he played all 13 games. Jalen Rivers got hurt after week 1. Weeks 2 through 6, 2 through 7, Markel Bell took his place as the left tackle. And he played pretty well. He played all right. He was Ward's blind side, and he was a little inconsistent, but he ended up, I would say, towards the end of the season, became a little bit better. So much better that when Jalen Rivers came back, they slid him to left guard during some plays so they can play Markel Bell at the left tackle. They liked what they saw out of him, the former JUCO transfer, incredible JUCO player. To see what he could do as in the Power 4 conference, and it definitely was a learning curve for him. But as the season went on, I thought he got better as the season, and with Ward and all those guys. And I expect his senior year to be on a very important. It's a very important year for him because he is Carson Beck's blindside. He has to protect the QB1. He's got to protect them. It's his job, his responsibility to be the blindside for Beck. He's got to have a really good season for Miami to be in that kind of position. Another guy that I'm really interested in is Ryan Rodriguez. He's a guy, he's freshman year, doesn't play a whole lot, whatever. Year 2 in the offseason suffers an injury, season-ending injury, doesn't play at all 2022. 2023 comes back, has to readjust to him getting injured, only plays 1 game in the Pinstripe Bowl. That's a season that he's looking at and be like, I really want to play. 2024, he finally gets the nod as the starting left guard. Game 1 against UF, plays 38 snaps, then he injures his ankle, has to have out for the season. Devastating blow. This season, said he's coming back, he's healthy, and he's ready to go. He'll be playing, and he'll be competing for the top left guard position with Matthew McCoy, who took his spot. And Ryan Rodriguez is hoping to get that spot back. But he's a guy I'm rooting for, at least, because come on, adversity, 2 season-ending injuries. He's been with the team for a long time. This is a member of, I believe, the Manny Diaz 2021 class, if I'm not mistaken. That's a guy that you're really rooting for. That's a guy that you really want to see ball out and play his best ball in his last season. That's a guy I'm really excited for. Hopefully that he gets the nod and hopefully he can stay healthy all season.
Yeah, I mean, big concern of injuries. You mentioned 2 season-ending injuries right there. I did just confirm. Yep, it is from Manny Diaz 2020-2021 class.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you see a guy, you hope he can fight through injuries. But if he can, I mean, we talked about the tackles right there. You have Markel Bell and CC Maui Noah on your left and right tackles, on the edges right there for Carson Beck. But if Ryan Rodriguez is going to be an injury concern, on terms of the interior offensive line, who are you kind of looking at to kind of hold down the middle of the line?
I mean, the middle of the line, we're talking here. We're talking Matthew McCoy. We're talking Inez Cooper, who's going to be the mainstay on the right guard. You know what you're going to get out of Inez Cooper, who's ACC honorable mention, back-to-back seasons, started all 13 games, 2023, 2024. Fantastic player. Key member of the Wall of Mirabal. That's a guy I love. But the left guard, in the event that Ryan Rodriguez is his injury concerns kind of continue, we got Matthew McCoy, who did play all 13 games, he started every game after the Rodriguez injury, had a key role at the left guard position. And he's a guy from Creekside High School in St. Augustine. That's a guy that you're hoping that in the event that Rodriguez does not play his best ball, maybe he's hurt, whatever, that McCoy can step into that role. And the other guy is the replacement from Zach Carpenter last season, which is TCU transfer James Brockermeyer, senior interior offensive lineman who spent 2021 to 2023 at Bama and last season at TCU. He's going to be the projected starter, one of 2 new mainstays, him and Markel Bell. I'm excited to see him. Big frame, 6'3", 295. if he can continue to, if he plays the way that Zach Carpenter played, I'm not really worried about our offensive line. I'm never not really worried about the offensive line because I love, I mean, they're awesome. I love the wall of Mirabal, but James Brockermeyer is one of the new guys that he's got to kind of work within this kind of system, and you're hoping that he can play as well as the rest of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. You think a guy transferred in, he's going to have to play a big role in the middle of that offensive line as the center taking over for Zach Carpenter. And just it's this position is the most exciting it's the most exciting because you don't have to worry about it. Like the offensive line as a group, you're excited because it's the one position aside maybe from defensive line for Miami that you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting here. I don't have to worry too much about it. Like you look at receiver, like we just talked about. Look at the secondary room, a bunch of new faces. I think offensive line, from left tackle to right tackle to the interior of the offensive line, is Miami's key to the season. Having the stability that they do right there in the trenches, especially when we talk about the running backs, it's between Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lyle. They're going to be so critical to Miami's success this year on the ground. Having an offensive line like the Wall Mirabal to constantly build with throughout the season. Protect Carson Beck because, like we said, we're talking about Beck. Really good if you keep him upright. He doesn't have to worry about pressure in his face. He can dice up defenses. Have time to sit in that pocket. I think that's where Beck's going to be at his best. And so, if Miami does not have to worry about this group at all, like they have in recent years, like you're very confident what this offense can be if this offensive line is as good as it's supposed to be and as it has been.
It's one of the rare things that you can be really excited for. It's almost rare that you can be excited for an offensive line, but that's what Miami's kind of built, which you can really thank Mirabal and Cristobal for. Maui Noah's tremendous in the run game. Already know that, but you love the way that the team is made. The team is built to be this amazing offensive line. And one of the moments that I remember seeing last season and these are three of the starters there, or even four of them because Bell was there, a game where Cam Ward's he's in the shotgun, he takes a step back. He has about 5 or 6 seconds to make a throw. And he's basically can just walk in the pocket. He can do whatever the hell he wants for forever. He did that so many times last season. And it was so fun to watch and be happy that you have such a great offensive line that against maybe like a Virginia Tech where they have, one of the better defensive lines in the country, you can kind of hold them off. And you can watch all these games where you're seeing them make big plays because the offensive line just gave him time. You look at the Duke play where Xavier Strippa made that incredible catch in the end zone. That was led by the fact that Cam Ward had well over 4 seconds of time in the pocket to make his move. Carson Beck, who is a guy that he's got to make the right reads, and that will help him with an incredible offensive line. He's going to have more time to read what he's looking at, see what he's looking at, and that's going to help him throughout the course of the season. And the offensive line is going to get another real test as we begin the season with Notre Dame, a great team overall. It's going to get UF. It's going to get a lot of really good teams. So I imagine the wall to be amazing. I'm not worried about the wall. I love the wall. I think it's going to be incredible. And I think that with the current 5 that they have, I don't know what team I'd put it up against in terms of best offensive lines in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be up there if you got to look at the totality of things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like just so many times last year, just being able to see Cam Ward just literally freeze in the pocket and just be able to just like literally stop moving his feet at all, like entirely, and just walk even was just so funny, and also just like you're so excited for that group to constantly continue growing as time moves on. So like very impressive, very interesting. Jane will be back in 1 second, so I'm just gonna yap for a slight moment. But yeah, I just think entirely of just looking at this group and being excited for what it can do is gonna be very exciting to see. Yeah, I mean just like we know Carson Beck at his best is just when he's able to dice defenses by standing in the pocket, finding targets, being on time with the system. With Corey Heatherman, there we go. Welcome back, Jaden. But with not Corey Heatherman, with Shannon Dawson's offense, kind of being maybe adjusting to give him a lot more quick outs. I mean, not quick hitters. When you want to go deep when you want to go to the deep ball, when you want to be able to sit in the pocket for a minute, let routes develop having an offensive line like Miami does, where Carson Beck can just sit in the pocket, pick a target, read, throw to it, it's going to be so huge for Miami and so huge for where they want to go this year.
Yeah, and this is a veteran group, which is what really helps is the fact that I love what they have coming in terms of the returners. One of the guys that I was looking at doing some research on was Samson Okunlola, I think. In the same class as CC, former 5-star, number 20 overall player in the class, 6'6", 300-pound offensive tackle. He was given crazy expectations. I will say that. Projected a first-round pick. As a high schooler, that's crazy. But he hasn't, I would say, lived up to the expectation of being that 5-star player. You would expect a 5-star to be already playing big starter roles, be ready to prepare for the draft at this point of his career. He hasn't. He's played all 13 games in 2023 or 2024, but you don't really know what you're going to be expecting from him this season, as he's projected the backup to Markel Bell. But this is a guy that adds some depth to it. His talent is incredible. So I'm hoping that maybe in 2025 or maybe 2026, he gets the starting nod and he could be the player that he was lived up to be. But there's some guys in the returning group that they have that you can just look at and be grateful for. And even one of the class of 2025 guys in is it Sway Alfo? I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to butcher it. The 4-star
You got the first half, I think, pretty decent.
from Bishop Gorman. He's incredible as well, and he's already slated to be one of the backup interior linemen. That's a guy that, one thing that I'm looking at this team is they have depth. They have depth. They have a group that can continue to be really good for the years to come, because Mario and Mirabal are incredible at recruiting offensive linemen. So I'm expecting this to be a group that can continue to be really good as Mario continues to recruit and he continues to to be here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably been the most consistent part of recruiting for Miami over over the Cristobal era, is this offensive line is constantly stacked and constantly refreshed with talent. I mean, we just mentioned Samson Okunma. Sorry if I butchered that similarly. Yeah, it's a 5-star just sitting on the bench waiting for his opportunity to shine. So, and then you think about Jackson Cantwell, the number 1 offensive tackle in the nation, who's going to come into this group in 2026. A bunch of just constant flowing of getting top guys, and not only getting those top guys, but developing them into consistent starters. Like, I mean, if you look to a couple years ago and ask, is Markel Bell going to be our starting right tackle? Maybe some people might have not, considered that. But now he is, and now he's a very qualified and capable, starting left tackle for you, as a getting experience last year when Jalen Rivers was down, and developing to the point throughout the season where Jalen Rivers is even back. Nah, we want Markel Bell to play some left tackle still for us. So I think just the way Miami's consistently able to recruit and develop is something you want to look at for all positions at a certain point. Maybe not all, but you know what I mean. Like, consistently being able to recruit and develop is how you build winning programs year in, year out. And we talk about it each week. Is Miami wants to build a program that's year in, year out at the top of recruiting boards, at the top of the ACC, top of the NCAA. Like, you want Miami to bring back that consistency as a program. And I think just this offensive line is the foundation of all of that.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I love about Mario is that he's incredible at offensive line. And one thing that we saw a couple of years back when he was in Oregon, was that he kind of showed that when he had Penei Sewell, another 5-star that reminds me a lot of CC, that is going to be a top overall pick. And he kind of was the mainstay of that Oregon group. CC is the same way. And that Oregon team was fantastic. They had a really good season. And you're kind of expecting Miami to kind of have that similar role. I mean, when Mario was at Oregon, he had some good seasons. He had some tough losses. Him and Miami's no different. He's had some good seasons. Last season was his best. You're expecting this season to be, maybe I would argue, no different. So you're really hoping that he can that O-line, you're right, the foundation. One thing that, at least in the NFL, they talk about, you got to build up the O-line. You got to build up the O-line. And you look at when you're talking about your favorite team, unless you're an Eagles fan, you're always saying to yourself, wow, our O-line sucks. So having an O-line it's one of the biggest joys in life, is having an O-line that you don't have to worry about. And instead you have to worry about some of your other things, like your receivers, or your DBs. It's it's a good issue, or it's a great thing to have, at least a good problem to have is having a great O line and having other worries that are easier to replicate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the offensive line not having to worry about it at all is just so important. And like you talk about the NFL, like it's great if you're an Eagles fan and year out, I don't have to worry about my offensive line going into the year because it's going to be in the top 5 to 10 of the entire NFL. And Miami, I don't know, Miami, this group can be in the top 5 to 10 if it really lives up to its expectations and where it's been each year. Kind of growing, it's like this could be a top tier offensive line in the entirety of college. And if you have that in front of your quarterback, you're going to enjoy. The rest is gonna should come a lot easier than if you had to worry about certain spots on this offensive line.
Yeah, you hit the nail right there. That's exactly what it is.